Welcome back, everyone, to the Howl Podcast, where we feature guests from various backgrounds with captivating stories to tell. And our goal is to bring people together by sharing diverse perspectives and experiences, while also empowering and amplifying underrepresented voices to inspire positive change in the world. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel at Howling Gale Entertainment. And please give us a rating on Spotify if you haven't already at the Howl Podcast. It would mean so much to us. And I'm your host today, Juan Raimundo Ramos.
And Nicole Ruiz. And our next guest for today is Carl Joseph Papa, an award-winning filmmaker known for his experimental and animated works, such as Manang Biring, which won Best Film at the 2015 Cinema One Originals Film Festivals, Love Bites, which was QC Cinema finalist and Animahenasyon 2018 Grand Prize winner, The Leaving, Paglisan, which won Best Film at Cinema One Originals Film Festival, and The Missing, Iti Mapukpukaw, which was nominated Best Foreign Language Film at the 2024 Palm Springs International Film Festival, and won Best Film at the 2023 Cinemalaya Film Festival, and is now in consideration for the Academy Awards for Best International Film. We're excited to talk more about Carl's journey and all his project and accomplishments. And without further ado, please welcome Carl Joseph Papa.
Hello, good morning,
hello.
Good evening,
Good morning,
or
good evening.
whatever time you're gonna watch this. So, good day,
Good day, good morning, good evening. Welcome, Carl, to the Howl Podcast. It's so good to see you here. And also, Nicole Ruiz, welcome back. I feel like I haven't seen you in a while in the show. How are you feeling, Nicole, too?
I'm feeling good. It's been a while since I've been on the podcast. I pop in and out. It's usually Juan that leads the podcast.
Yes, absolutely.
But it's fun.
It's fun. And we're excited to talk to you, Carl, about your film and also your journey as well. First and foremost, we want our viewers and listeners to learn more about you. So just kindly maybe introduce yourself and also your background to where you came from.
Okay. Hello, I'm Carl Papa, and I'm a software engineer by profession. I've been working since 2007 as a software engineer, but I really love films and I really love telling stories. So when I got the chance to buy my first camera, I started working on experimental shorts and animated short films. And then on around 2015, I made my first features. So now my latest film, The Missing, surprisingly was selected to be part of Academy Awards. I mean, to represent the country. So it's been quite a year we're having.
That's amazing. That's amazing to hear. And also, how did everything begin for you as a filmmaker? Because, for me, I learned so much about filmmaking through just watching movies, maybe, going to film school. Did you go to film school too? Or how did everything begin?
No, actually, I took up computer science when I was in college. I studied in UP Los Baños, and yeah. But I actually love telling stories, making short films. I mean, back then it was very hard to make short films because I don't have a camera. We only have a digital camera that records video, doesn't have a sound. Or I use my the webcams that we had in the early 2000s. It's very pixelated, not like the quality that we have right now. And the cameras are not that accessible to buy back then compared to now.
Yeah.
But I've always loved telling stories. I love drawing. When I was young, I was at the edges of your notebook, I try to draw stuff at the side, so when you flip it, it moves. So I guess that was my start with animation. But how I got in, um, I started working around 2008 and 2007, 2008. When I saved up for a couple of months, I bought my first camera, and then that's when I started to make my own films. At first, it was more. Actually, I didn't know how to make one. I didn't go to film school. I'm mostly a YouTube graduate, and my teacher,
YouTube.
my YouTube graduate, yeah, and my teachers are the films that I see, and the films at my back. So, and then maybe when I was starting, I was just copying the films that I loved. And then eventually I got my own, style and the stories that I want to tell. Yeah, that's how I started.
Have you always gravitated towards animation when you first started doing film, or did it take a little bit longer to get there?
I actually, when I was starting, I was thinking of how I can incorporate because I love drawing. I mean, I'm not that good, but I love to create things. So I studied the live action. I'm sorry, stop motion animations. The claymation, so how they did it, how to make armatures, and then. And I think back then even the tablets were not that accessible. The
Drawing
pen and
tablet. Yeah.
it wasn't. So if you wanted to make like an animation before, you had to do cell animation the traditional way, but that too was even expensive, I guess. So I guess I started to make experimental or just live action short films, but when things got more accessible and cheaper for me to do animation, that's when I gravitated towards making animated films.
I see. I guess throughout your films leading up to The Missing or Iti Mapukpukaw, what of your previous films would you say was when you started, having your own voice as a storyteller?
I think it started with Manang Biring, my first animated film. That too was also rotoscope. And well, when I made Manang Biring, it was more of a love letter to my mom, because I lost my mom back in 2012, and I wanted to tell the stories of mothers who are strong. I mean, Filipino mothers, whenever they're feeling sick or something, they wouldn't tell you that.
Yes.
They would still continue doing on with what they're supposed to do. So I wanted to show that in Manang Biring, and that was my mom. So I did that. And when I saw it first time on screen, actually, a trivia. it was part of Cinema One Originals back in 2015.
Wow.
Our first screening was around 10 p.m. at night, 9:30 or something.
Oh my God.
But the DCP, we only finished like 5 hours before.
No. It's gonna get close, no?
Yeah, and I had to the traffic was so bad going from Mandaluyong going to Quezon City, and
Oh my God. Did you have to personally deliver it?
yeah, I did. So they ingested it for like an hour, and then the first when we're doing the tech test, and that's when I saw the film for the first time on the big screen. So I knew that. And when I was watching it the first time on the big screen, I knew that I felt that this is my niche. I like telling personal stories, about family, friends, stuff. Because when you're telling these kinds of stories, you try to get inside the shoes of other people
Yeah.
and trying to understand why they did things back. I mean, given the situation that they were facing. So I guess that Manang Biring and then Paglisan, when we made Paglisan back in 2018, that one was 2D hand-drawn animation. Right. It was I guess a first time doing that kind of animation, but then I knew that okay, this is where I'm going. I think I'm going to focus on doing animation and really personal and heartfelt stories, so as to maybe inspire or people to or to I guess for me to for the missing, it's to to speak up, stuff like that.
Yes,
Amazing.
and you mentioned like some of your films got in, some of these festivals like the Cinemalaya, and you also won Best Film at Cinema One Originals Film Festival. I'm like, wow, Carl, you're amazing. You're a very talented person, and congratulations on all that.
It took a lot of trying, really, a lot of rejection. For Cinemalaya, it's I think it's the biggest festival here. I mean, other than Metro Manila Film Festival, it's the biggest independent film festival here in the Philippines. Actually, I've been submitting for probably 10 years to different projects, but I guess they got tired of me and said,
One sticks.
let's just let him in.
Sige na nga.
Sige na nga, pwede na yan.
So that's also like a good advice to, I guess, like new filmmakers. Don't let one no get you down, because you're gonna get so many no's in the industry. And
Yes,
it's not because
definitely.
you're not a good filmmaker. It's just probably not the right time, or they're looking for a different thing. And
Yeah.
Carl submitted like 10 times to Cinemalaya. So
Yeah,
They got
never
Still-
give
fed
up.
up.
Yes, keep your
Never
head up.
give up. Let them give up.
Yes,
let
give
them
up.
get sick of you
Yeah.
and finally let you in.
Let you in.
Yes, but then I saw The Missing, which was shown through Phil I'm Creative and also Reed Smith with Nicole here, and I thought that it was such an amazing film that should be shown anywhere. You mentioned about the film festivals, and now it's in consideration for the Academy Awards as well. I wanted to ask about the concept and its inception. Like how did the idea spark in your head? Like, oh, maybe I'll make this film called The Missing. Did you have any inspirations to make that film?
So the story started really personal with me. It was something that happened to me back in 2018. People were sending messages to our chat groups like condolence to this person, condolence that person, and then I didn't know who that person was, so I researched who he is, and then why are people close to me saying condolence to this person? I know he died. And then I researched that person. That person was someone who used to stay at our home when I was young, and he was a teenager, and I was around 9 or 10, probably. And then he would do sexual advances to me when I was young. And I wanted to tell people about what he did or what happened to me when I was young. Trying to figure out things like, I had a lot of questions in my head, like, would things be different, or is it because of him that I do the things right now? Is it? Yeah, there's a lot of questions because of what he did. And then I couldn't do anything because he's already dead. So I wrote down the story initially as as a coping mechanism for the anger that I was feeling. And when I was writing it down, I knew that it was bigger than me. It was still personal, but I did a lot of research and interviewed people who underwent the same things that I did. I mean, the thing that happened to me wasn't as bad as what happened to Eric in the film, but I incorporated the stories of other people as well, and I think that gave me a perspective on how I should tell my story, or how I should tell the story of the missing. It wasn't making it, like morose or depressing wouldn't help people, or it wouldn't give the right message or a push to the people of what to do. So I wanted to bring it in the place of hope and love, and to send a message of how you can possibly reclaim your voice or move forward, or if you know people who have undergone the same thing, maybe you could be the Carlos and Rosalindas in the story. So yeah. So,
Yeah. It's a pretty heavy topic to be writing about. I guess, how was your process of completing it for it to be ready to shoot? Like, did you have to like take breaks in between, or like how was it?
I did a lot of breaks actually, because I was breaking down when I was
I bet.
when I was writing it. So I started writing it around 2018, and I have probably a draft at the end of 2019.
Oh
A
wow.
lot of breaks, a lot of people talking to people, and revising the story. But I guess the backbone of what the story was set back in 2019 when I first wrote it down, and then it just evolved more during the pandemic. We were able to actually pitch the film back in 2020, early 2020, before things got closed down. Then other production companies were interested with it, but then didn't pan out. So that's when I tried again submitting to Cinemalaya. So.
I see. So when you finished writing it, did you already have in mind that you were gonna submit it to Cinemalaya, or you were just writing it so you like
No, I was
get your
just
feelings
writing.
out?
Yeah, I was just trying to put my emotion to paper, and well, in this time, digital stuff. But I didn't know I was going to submit it in Cinemalaya when I was writing it down. We were already pitching it to production companies and to other festivals, and then I didn't know how long the pandemic was going to be. So
We didn't
so where I guess it's an opportune thing, because when they called for entries for 2024, so I was thinking maybe I should submit things. I submit this probably one last time, because maybe I guess the rejections for the film at first were it's the universe telling me that you're not supposed to make this story. You're not. But then it got in Cinemalaya, so it was a long journey in pushing it,
Wow.
pushing it to getting it made.
Yeah, I bet. I bet that a lot of effort was put into this film, not just the process of it, but also like your emotions, like your story, putting your story into paper, like you said. So thank you so much for sharing that. And speaking of the animation process, I was so impressed actually. The first frame, the first frame I saw it, I was like, wow, this looks good. I'm like, okay, I'm hooked. Like I want to watch the full thing now. But I wanted to ask about the process of the animation from start to finish, because honestly, I haven't really done that much animation in my life. I've mostly done a bunch of live action, music videos. I've done some stop motion in high school, but I think that's about it. So I wanted to ask about like how you made the animation for this film. Were there and also how many animators were involved? Did you have like a couple of animators, or?
Especially like, you have to specify that it's like rotoscoping. Maybe you can like give us like a little, I don't know if our listeners know what rotoscoping is. So,
Okay, so when I was conceptualizing the film, I knew that it was going to be animation. It's the thing that I've been doing, and I think it's gonna complement what the story is trying to tell or what the story's message is. So I just have to select an animation style that would best fit the story, and I wanted the animation to have a reason of why I selected it. So I selected rotoscope animation, which is wherein you have to shoot everything live action and then you trace it everything, trace everything. I mean later on, and make it feel more animated. I wanted I wanted to do rotoscoping because it gives that a feeling of confusion. Like you would also question as a viewer, you'd also question, is it live action or is it animated? I think that complements Eric's mental state wherein he was also questioning things, whether the things are real or not. And then we also did 2D animation, which is done for the flashbacks, because I wanted that feel of it is a memory of someone. It is a memory stuck in childhood. So I wanted it to feel nostalgic. I wanted it to feel childish. So we did that sort of chibi-ish animation to the hand drawn, and then so when that was set. So what we did was to make the storyboards at first. I mean, that took a very, very long time because I want the storyboards to be edited already. I didn't want to make an animated clip and then later on it would end up not going into the final cut. That's expensive. I mean, the film is already expensive as it is. So we finalized. It took months to finish the storyboard. I worked with the DOP and the editor with it so that it's going to be our Bible. And when we shot late November last year, we only shot for 4 days for all the rotoscope parts. So we had the storyboard put up on board, and then that's gonna be our Bible. I mean, we already have like what the shot is gonna be, so things would move faster when we're going to shoot because we only have like 4 days to finish this, 4 straight days to finish it. And then at the same time, when we were shooting, we already using the storyboard. We also made the animatic. I mean, it's like a moving storyboard, and we sent those to the animators and we also gave the timing of it, like let's do a study and let's do the keyframes for this scenes. And also at the same time, when we were shooting, the 3D animation was also already doing the backgrounds because all of the backgrounds were done in 3D and then rendered into 2D. And then so what we did after shooting, so we edited it and then it went to the rotoscope team. So it took us around 7 months to finish the rotoscope parts. So I already have like a team of animators because I did two animation films before, so we have like a team or a resource of people we can tap for our project. And then we posted on our social media who would want to join us for this project. So we got around 90 animators. So
90.
yeah, 90.
It was all independent. Like you guys didn't reach out to like an animation studio or something.
No, because if we did that, it's gonna be more expensive. And we have like very tight budget. So the thing with this kind of animation is because that the number of frames is set. since everything is already edited, they're not gonna do any animation that's not gonna be put in the final cut. And then, so that we have a Discord group of all the animators. So it's months of me talking to a lot of people. Luckily, I have like animation supervisors who help me check or to manage the files or to talk to the animators. But actually, we prior to the first screening we haven't met. And I didn't know what they look like. I just know them by their last name.
Last name.
Because because I assigned, I created the folders in Google Drive wherein they would get the files from it, then they'll submit it there. And most of these are all these are all Filipino animators, predominantly new graduates and or graduating, so they're still students, and a couple more a few more that are actually working as animators already. So it's a pretty young group. When they were making jokes, I couldn't understand. Generational gap.
Gen Z, baka Gen A na din yan, Generation Alpha.
They were already laughing, and I was like,
Yep.
yeah.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a lot of people involved. I thought it was 19, but no, 90. If you just count 1 to 90, that's a lot of people working on the animation side of the things. But yeah, I watched it and I was like, wow, I wonder if there was like a lot of people who worked on the animation, because it was so impressive. It was so impressive. And I got to say, that's amazing. And alongside those animators, you also got to work alongside Carlo Aquino, Gio Gahol, and also Dolly De Leon. I was wondering, like, wow, because I met Dolly De Leon a month ago in the A Very Good Girl premiere screening, and she was such an amazing person. I wanted to ask, like, how you got involved with these actors, these amazing actors on screen, because they were very talented, and I really loved their performance.
Actually, this is one of those things that Project 8 Projects was really a big part of. I mean, because they've worked with Carlo Aquino before, and they've worked with Dolly De Leon before. So when we were casting when we were thinking of who's going to be in the cast, we wrote down the names of the possible actors who would best fit for the role. And then these are the actors who came out on top, like, oh, this is perfect and it's gonna be good. And because I love all of their works, and actually this is not the first time that Carlo Aquino played a mute character. He already did that in Isa Pa with Feelings. I think that was 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
And then Dolly De Leon was working for Project 8 Projects before in other series and other films. So, but we were able to talk to Carlo Aquino first. We were able to talk to him first, and then we pitched the story to him without me sending the script. I just told him the story, what was going to be, why I'm going to tell the story, and then he said yes right ahead. So, like, sabi niya, direct gagawin ko to. So, okay, cool.
Wala pang script yun, ha?
And then I talked to Gio Gahol afterwards, because I'm a big fan. He's a theater actor, and I've seen his work in Sila Sila, and I've been a fan of his. And then I wanted him to, since I've seen most of his work, and I wanted him to, bring like a certain warmth into the story, and he kind of does that for me in the films that I've seen from him. And then I also, reached out to him on Facebook. Actually, I met him the first time in person last year, 2022, in Cinemalaya as well. um, I was just, fanboying, like, hey, can I have a selfie with you? but 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 I knew in my head, like, yeah, I'm gonna contact you very soon.
You're already like, I'm taking notes.
I'm going to add you on Facebook right now because eventually we're gonna work together. So that was in my head. And then Dolly, I had to, pitch her the story as well. I think I'm not sure if she already read the script. I'm not sure, but she also said yes right then and there when I pitched to her. And then when I said it's going to be Ilocano, that's when she hesitated. Oh, wait. But then we gave her all because she's perfect in it. I mean, if you have seen her works before, you wouldn't let her go for this role. I mean,
she was perfect for this role. I spoke Ilocano, so I was like trying to see if she really pronounces the words properly, and I think she did a really great job. Like,
what we did was like my stepmother, Perla, she's Ilocano as well. I recorded her. We sat down like after dinner, and, can you read these lines and how you're gonna say it with this emotion? And then we recorded those. I edited those clips and then sent those to Dolly. Like, this is your guide, but you're gonna have an Ilocano coach on set also. So, yeah.
how long from when you sent that until like shooting day? Like, how long did she have time to learn it?
To prepare, I think we had, months prior to shooting because probably the guide I sent that months prior to her, so she had like more time to prepare, and she was the first one to record because we have to record the flashback scenes first, so and then we shot it later. We shot the live action parts later on. So we had to get her to do the dubbing first for the flashback. So.
Yeah, it was really great. When I found out about the film, because I haven't seen like a heavy Ilocano film, not even in Cinemalaya. Maybe I haven't seen all of them, but I was really excited to see an Ilocano film. Like, even when I saw you guys like are in the running for an Oscar nomination, so that was really amazing. Have you always included the Ilocano language when you were writing your films, or is this the first time?
In Manang Biring, there were small parts wherein they had to speak Ilocano. I mean, Manang is, ate, or, so that Manang Biring is actually an Ilocano character as well. But she was staying in Manila and, she only talks Ilocano to other Ilocano characters. So that's a small part. So, but this one is more like, it's 30% Ilocano dialogue. So, yeah. But this is the first time like I had to write down a lot of speaking Ilocano parts.
Does Carlo speak Ilocano?
No.
Oh, so he also had to learn Ilocano.
Because he doesn't speak, so he just wrote it down. So it's easier for him. No accent to take into consideration. But Dolly, she had a guide and a coach on set. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he also was like pretty good on his Ilocano. Was the kid the voice
kid,
for the
actually the we had different actors for those. The younger
really
the younger version were all female.
oh my god! Wow. I wouldn't.
Yeah, we just we did an audition for the the flashback parts where we asked for people who were fluent in Ilocano to do the roles of a younger Eric, and then the alien, and then the uncle. We had like a guy, young boys do the audition as well, but there was this one girl who stuck like, it started off Bart Simpson thing, like she's voiced, he's voiced by a female voice actor. So it stuck with me. I mean, that actress, that voice actress, she was actually pregnant when she was dubbing the scenes.
So how young was this kid? She was pregnant.
Yeah, and she was from, I think she's staying in Pangasinan, also way north in the Philippines, and she had to travel because she wanted to do the voiceover for Eric.
Wow.
We just had to tweak her voice a bit to make it sound like it's a boy, but I guess her voice sounds like a little boy. And then the one with the young girl, the cousin, actually that was a friend of one of our teammates for the film. So I knew that she was going. When I first heard her, I didn't hear other people. I mean, you're going to take this part, so no one else is going to do that.
Wow. Oh, that's an amazing story. And now the whole film is now in consideration for the Academy Awards. And that's so impressive to me. I'm like, wow, I'm so happy to see, Filipino representation and also Filipino films being, highlighted in these kinds of things. So I wanted to ask about your campaign and how it's going, how it's doing, how long has it been, and talk about being considered in the Academy Awards. Is this your first time, or?
Actually, this is my first time to be selected as representative. I mean, the goal of the film was to be shown in Cinemalaya, and that was my only goal when we were making the film. So everything that came afterwards, everything that came after the first screening was just a plus. So we just wanted to tell the story as sincere as possible, to possibly resonate with the audience, to send them a message of love and hope. But then things happened afterwards, like the Philippine Academy of the Philippines was asking for films who could possibly be submitted for Oscar consideration. And we said, let's try. And then they I think they narrowed it down to 7 or something films, less than 10. Then we were part of that. So we were, thinking, there's a possibility that we're gonna be selected. So, but we're up against, other more accomplished directors, and then they announced that we are going to be representing the Philippines. So it was a shock, and I was stunned for days during the announcement. And the campaign. I've been to LA the past week. We did a screening there, and I've attended events. I've attended the Critics' Choice event also, to get the word out. And then we are very heavy on campaigning it on social media as well, because some of the pundits, bloggers, reviewers, critics are in Twitter or X, and then. So we wanted to have a social media presence, to get the word out as well, so people will talk about it. We're also reaching out to people, having them review the film, or remind them that if they're not, we're very cautious with the Academy voters, because they have to watch it from the Academy screening room and not from the screener that we have. Mm-hmm. So we just we try to generate buzz as much as possible from the social media accounts that we have. And the response has been great. We've been getting good reviews, really good reviews. Actually, I'm surprised that it resonated with foreign audience as well. And hopefully, we're trying to do more screenings in the future. But for now, I think since the campaigning has to stop at one point because they're going to do a short list announcement very soon. So. Hopefully we get in.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. And I really have high hopes, like I mentioned, because it's such a good film. Even with the cast involved, the animation, everything was like so good. And I hope that people get to see it and people get to celebrate the talents of Filipino people. So I wanted to ask, since this was such a long process, right, from start to finish, given that you did, the casting process, you did the animation with 90 animators, that's a lot of animators, and also creating the story, which is also another thing. I wanted to ask about the lessons you learned and about this film, just the process of making it, and also what kind of lessons the story can have for the audiences out there.
I wanted the film to be sort of refuge for the other Erics in the world. Probably they could find refuge in the film. Probably urge them to speak out. I mean, there are a lot of cases of sexual abuse and rape in the Philippines that hasn't been reported because it happened within the family. And there's a certain stigma with people who are, abused. I mean, the victims probably had it coming or, shit like that. But I wanted the film to be something that would urge people to reclaim their voice, to speak out. That was the goal. And not even if you're not an Eric in the film, you could be the Rosalinda or the Carlo for other people to give an understanding of how you could provide a safe space for other people. You just have to be a good listener. Even if you don't understand what the other people are going through, you just have to be with them. Let them find their footing and eventually give them a safe space wherein they can talk about what happened to them. So that was the goal of the film.
That's amazing.
That was what we had in mind. And for the animation part of it, I wish that the film could spark an interest to other Filipino directors and writers to make original content for animated feature films in the Philippines. I think we only had like less than a dozen, or probably a dozen, animated feature films in the 100 years of Philippine cinema. And we're lucky to have like one a year. So I hope since the film is getting recognition, getting buzz here and there, I hope the younger or even the older filmmakers would be urged to make original content for animated feature films. So we have a lot of really great animators and filmmakers here in the Philippines. It's just a matter of having a vehicle for them to showcase their talent.
I want to watch more. I want to watch more
resources from the government.
Yeah. And more support from the government.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But it's just going to be a start from here on out. But hopefully in the future we get to this gets to ignite a lot of fire and bigger fire in the future.
I know, because the Philippines is so rich in diverse of people. We're an archipelago, so each and every one of those islands have different experience and stories to tell. And I wish our government supported the arts more, but unfortunately, So we gotta we gotta you gotta start asking them for more stuff because there is so many stories to tell, and we have so many great filmmakers as well. They're sometimes just really underfunded. So yeah.
That's why we're kind of thankful that the Film Development Council of the Philippines, I think it's a branch of the government, they helped us with financing the film, and with also they help us with they also gave support with the campaign as well. So um, I guess it's we want more for it, but maybe this is just a start of something that would be bigger in the future. I mean,
Exactly.
we can only hope.
Yes, we can only hope. But it's a start is a start, like having films like these, getting support from even just like little groups, little Filipino groups. I think that as a community, if we just come together as one and support each other, it'll be, a good step for us to tell the broader scale, hey, we need funding for these types of movies and these types of projects because it helps make the world a better place, whatever the case may be. So yeah, I really think we're going to get there. I have high hopes, and I think this is a good start. And thank you for making that film, because you're making this happen. And
Thank you.
Yes. So we are approaching the final stages of this episode. So we only have a couple of questions left. So as you know, the Howl podcast is also about giving advice to others. So I just wanted to ask one question regarding that, is regarding animation, given that you've done many animation films in the past. For someone who wants to start, like, what advice would you give to those people? Would you advise them to go to YouTube University, like you said? Would you tell them to go to school? Like, for people who are starting out, like, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, for people who are starting out, probably give yourself education in terms of like watch more films. That's gonna be your best teacher that you can have. If you have the resources, if you have the money, then you go to film school. You take up animation in college, or in the university. It's definitely gonna help. But if you're starting out, you're really passionate in making films and creating your story, the only way for you to do that is to do it. I mean, gawin niyo lang. That's the only way you're gonna find out if you can do it is if you do it. That's what I did. I just wanted to make films. I just wanted to tell stories, so I did. Even if my first films were crap, like I mean, the first short films that I did were subpar. But I think the experience, feeling that you've accomplished something, you've finished something, you're gonna do that only if you start making your first film. So don't hesitate, just do it, and don't be afraid of rejections. I mean, that's gonna happen a lot, in the future, and it's gonna get to a point wherein when you're rejected, it's gonna feel nothing.
True.
Great advice. I mean, that's just what you got to do, guys. You just got to do it. All right. So, The Missing, Iti Mapukpukaw, written and directed by Carl Joseph Papa, starring Carlo Aquino, Gio Gahol, and Dolly De Leon, produced by Project 8 Projects, Dan Villegas, and Gio Lumuntad. Keep on supporting Iti Mapukpukaw. Keep sharing all their social media posts, and I'm gonna pass it on to Carl and let us know when the next screening is.
Okay. You can follow us on Twitter, X. Anyway, it's The Missing. You can follow us through The Missing PH. And on Instagram, it's The Missing PH 2023. Our next screenings is going to be on Palm Springs International Film Festival. We're part of the awards buzz section, wherein they show like where they show features from different countries. So we have 2 screenings right now. It's the first is on January 7th, 8:30 p.m. at Regal Cinemas, and the second one is January 13th, 10:45 a.m. So you have to wake up early for this one. The location is Mary picked for this to play. So we're still planning things out. Maybe a part of the team is going to go to Palm Springs. So we'll keep you posted.
Amazing.
I'll be there. Everyone will be there. Feel I'm creative. Howling Gale.
So I'm really thankful to the film community and the film creative for helping me out and helping the Filipino films, and especially this film this year. I mean, it's been an overwhelming, and my heart is full. Thank you for the support. It's really great. I love it.
Yeah. Where can people find you too, Carl, if you want to shout yourself out for on social media?
Actually, the missing page is. I'm one of those people who control it. So if you message that, and definitely I'm gonna see it. I managed to the thing is here.
There we go.
So yes. I'm one of the people that's gonna reply. If it's addressed to me, I'm going to reply to you. You can check that out.
Yes, and thank you so much, Carl, for this amazing episode, and also sharing your insights regarding your film and also your journey. And we learned so much from you today. And thank you for allowing us at Howling Gale Entertainment to promote your film, given that it's Oscar candidate. We'll see. We're going to get there. Let's do it. Very optimistic. And I also want to thank my co-host, Nicole Ruiz, amazing filmmaker, cinematographer, and also the marketing director of Howling Gale. And it's a pleasure to be with you today, Nicole.
You too, Juan.
Yes. So without further ado, everyone, please check out their social media channels. For The Missing, thank you so much, Carl Joseph Papa, for this episode. And thank you all those listeners out there who are listening to this episode of The Howl, and be sure to check out The Missing. It's an amazing film. If you're going to be there at the Palm Springs International Film Festival, I'll see you there in January. So we'll see you next time.